Hello. A couple of things to talk about today. We'll see if we can put these in a coherent thread. The first is questions come up, and I want to provide maybe some clarity on this notion of the person falling away. How do I make the person fall away? It's a useful pointer, and it can also create a little bit of confusion because there's this implication that the person has always been there. It's this notion of a separate person has grown. This story of Noel, the story of you, has grown out of you. In the same way that a caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly. It was a butterfly the whole time. Seed doesn't become a tree. It was a tree the whole time. There's no person that needs to be shedded. It's just that in self-realization, what is realized, the realization of the self with a big S, it is realized that the person never existed. So these questions or these questions about techniques or what can be done to make the person fall away is in many ways similar to the feeling that the ego needs to be killed or be silenced or anything else. In fact, even after the person falls away, there's still the play of life. There's still this character running around in this apparent world doing stuff. And the play of life is amazing, and the playing of the character is amazing, but it's just seeing that that's all that it is. I had a friend who was asking about, raising a vibration. You don't think that we can raise our vibration and get to this higher level. And I don't try to get into any philosophical debates. If someone says, I feel like, by meditating or doing whatever, I raise my vibration and I feel better, my response is always like, that's awesome. That's so cool. I don't run around in the world like, you don't exist. That's so stupid. Because it's not, because this play, this thing, whatever this is, involved in it is ideas and thoughts like, oh, I can raise to this higher vibration. I can get to this other place. How do I get this consciousness in my head? How do I become this consciousness in a greater scale? Your consciousness is not in your head. Your head and everything is in and is consciousness. It's not contained. It can't be contained. The infinite cannot be contained because where would it be contained? Where is there an edge? Where is there a lid that you could put on the infinite? And so through that discussion, she said, well, that sounds kind of boring. And I said, well, therein is, if you want to offer some sort of concession for a reason why this cosmic game of hide and seek exists and how it exists, it's the idea or the illusion that these changes can take place in the mental construct of time and space. As if there is some place where one thing ends and another thing begins, where I stop and this, you, that begins. It's all one thing. It's all one thing. And the mind, some minds will in this, I don't want to say combative, but in this like, whoa, wait a second, method will say, well, that sounds like, why would anyone care? That sounds so, it sounds dangerous. It sounds nihilistic. It sounds like, that everything will just fall apart. And everything does fall apart, period. It just does. But the notion of it being dangerous or bad is not true. That's more thoughts that are arising. And there is certainly nothing wrong with playing in this game of life, playing this character. This character here loves going to yoga retreats, and because it feels great, it feels so real. It feels, this all feels real as part of the whole game. If it didn't feel real, it wouldn't be any fun. What would be the point? The answer is there wouldn't be a point. And the only point to live, as Alan Watts has said, is just to live. There's no reason that so many run around, trying to leave their mark on the world. We've got to leave our mark on the world. We've got to make it better than we found it. Says who? Says who? That's just a thought arising. And the audacity to think that we, as separate little me, can make the world better than it is when I laugh at stuff, I don't mean to be mean or condescending. I just think that and this happens a lot. This happens out in the world when I see incidents, or I see people like stuck in their shit or like taking things really seriously. There's compassion there, there's love, but there is oftentimes laughter, and it sounds like, oh, he's just a smart ass, or whatever. And I guess that's okay too. I don't care. But self-realization is the awakening to the awareness that this is all an illusion. This is all just a play that's happening. And I was responding to a message yesterday, and I got this thought popped up, and it was sort of a parallel as to what it is. If you've ever woken up late on your day off and thinking that you need to come to work, you need to go to work, and then there's that split second right after you realize that it's your day off, that thing, that little moment in time, that is awakening. That is awakening. That is the reminder that it's all good. That is the reminder that the thing, I gotta get to work. Oh my gosh, I gotta take life seriously. I gotta figure all this out. Oh no, I don't. It's just happening. I don't have to work today. And so in the play of life, in getting lost, because these programs run for a long time, getting lost in the character, there are these, using that same parallel, there are these events that might be happening that where you're like, oh, I'm late for work, and then these little, some call them glimpses or whatever, these little hints, or really in some ways it's just a reminder. When the self is realized, it just becomes a reminder. Oh yeah, this is we're just playing here. And the idea that by, I guess, conceding that we can't raise our vibration or become better, the idea that that's boring is missing the point. It's missing a lot, actually. What it's really missing is the magic of all this. This is unbelievable. When you stop feeling like that you're supposed to run around and make a better me, and you realize that whole thing is just false, then you can start looking around and seeing, like, and I keep looking at my hands. I don't know why, because they're doing this, but you can see that all of this is just this amazing, wonderful miracle. All of it. Looking at your hands, watching children do what they do, watching people do what they do, watching people that are in this, that are playing this character that's stuck in personhood, take their life seriously. It's all absolutely fascinating. Or it can be, or it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be fascinating. It can be like completely boring. I'm not promoting any of this. It's actually, it's pretty, it's the middle way, basically. There is no person that needs to fall away. There never was. There never was, at the beginning, a person that now needs to be shed like some sort of skin. Somewhere along the way, we can identify, years after this body was born. It started getting called Noel. This is Noel. This is your name. This is your stuff, etc., etc. And somewhere along the way, those stories started stacking up, and this in a group of thoughts that became a person called Noel. In this play of life, there's a character called Noel running around, laughing at silly stuff, blown away by all of this. But it's all happening in and as consciousness, in and as the infinite. The realization of this, the true knowing of this, doesn't remove problems for the character. It doesn't erase traumas. It doesn't mean that you're going, that all of a sudden the character is floating 3 feet over the ground and doesn't have a care in the world. Cares in the world pop up. They just do. But that's all part of the play of life as well. And that, going back to that, I don't have to work today, those show up as well as reminders that this is just a play. This is just consciousness experiencing itself in all these energetic contractions in form. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely amazing. Don't try to make your person fall away. Just be. Just be. That's what you have always been. You didn't become a person. You've always been consciousness. You didn't get personhood, and now you need to remove it. It's just a series of stories, this notion of being a separate self, being a Noel.